Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for getting latest updated video. Hello friends, my name is Bhavesh Parmar and in today's session we are going to start a new lesson, Introduction to DBMS. So in this lesson we are going to study what do you mean by database, that is concept related with database. Then we are going to see the introduction of DBMS and RDBMS, means what is the basic difference between them, what actually DBMS stands for, what actually RDBMS did. Thereafter we are going to study advantages of using database management system, that is called DBMS. And thereafter we are going to discuss types for storage of data within a database. Thereafter finally we are going to understand the structured query language, that is SQL. So first of all I want to clear you, all of you, these things are totally new thing for you, and most probably sometime may happen most of the concepts are not clear to you. So I try to request you, if you are not getting any concept properly, so you just try to listen this video at least 2 to 3 times, so that's why you can get what actually this lesson is related with. Okay guys, so as without wasting of our time, let me start the today's session. So first of all we are going to see what do you mean by data. So data means what? Data is nothing but what? Collection of meaningful information. Means suppose if I am going to asking you when your unit test examination will going to start, so what I'm expecting from you, exact date. So most of the students say that sir, we have unit test examination from 1st of November. Okay, so that kind of answer I am expecting. But suppose some student try to tell me, sir, this lesson is very easy. So just listen what am I trying to say. When your unit test examination will going to start, and what he reply me, sir, this lesson is very difficult or this lesson is very easy. So means there is a controversy, means I am asking about what and what you are going to giving me the reply. So it is nothing but it is not a data. Okay, but suppose if I am going to search on our Google information of science, so what it gives the information, it gives, Google gives you the information related with science only. It will not show information about commerce, information about arts. So it is nothing but what? Data. Means that data have some meaning, and that data how we are going to store if we have a huge amount of data. So in last lesson we have seen the measurements of data, the units of data, means how we can going to store the data in terms of bits, bytes, MB, GB, TB and many more things. So guys, now we are going to focus the definition of database. But before that, what actually database means and where actually it requires. So generally what happen guys, let me take the example of your examination. So in whole year we are giving 2 unit test examination, then 1 terminal examination, and then final examination will be there. So generally what happen, after giving that examination, college or school will provide you a report card. So from that report card we can easily find out what actually it means. Means say for example it will give you the marks of all the subjects, means summarized information of your examination, means how many marks you have scored in English, physics, chemistry, biology, IT and many more subjects. So this is nothing but what? Summarized information, that is called what? Data. Okay, so that kind of data I have for unit test examination, terminal examination, second unit test examination, at the end final examination, that is called annual examination. So that report card will give you the reflection of your work, means what actually we are doing in the examination. So let me take the example, suppose a particular student, XYZ student, score 90% in unit test examination marks, and in terminal examination he or she scored 92%. So in second unit test he scored 70%. So what you are expecting, which kind of analysis you are trying to do? So what you are going to see, in first two examination we scored above 90% marks, but in second unit test our score get down. So what you are going to analysis from that report card means, for annual examination we have to work more harder. So that's why we will try to maintain the score of our examination report card. Let me take the different example. In schools or colleges, class teacher have a list of number of students admitted for their division. Means suppose if you are in A division, so teacher have the detail regarding the student information about their class, means student full name, thereafter their date of birth, their contact number, WhatsApp number, and many more things. So this kind of information they are going to store in a particular table form. So it is nothing but what it is called database. So let me take the another example what actually database means. So suppose let me take the example of ice cream company. Let me take the example of Amul. So what happened actually? Amul company manufactures ice cream for whole 12 month. But what actually they analyze, in summer season especially the number of cells get increases, means due to humidity, extra temperature, there is a huge demand of ice cream. So what they are trying to do, they manufacture their ice cream on a large scale. But the same thing in case of winter, so due to heavy cold, so there is a less demand of ice cream by customers. So what they actually trying to do, they try to produce their ice cream with a small quantity. But in case of summer season, so before starting the summer they just try to increase their production. So that's why in the case of summer they can distribute or they can make a huge sale of that ice cream. So it is only and only possible due to database. So if they have a sales details of last 10 years, so according to that they can understand how the demand gets increased or decreased. According to that they will try to maintain their plan. Okay guys, so this is regarding about database. So now we focused on the definition of database, what actually database means. So database means a collection of interrelated data. Interrelated means what? The things related with each, which helps in efficient retrieve, inserting and deleting of data. So what do you mean by insert? What do you mean by delete? What do you mean by retrieve? So suppose if I have a list of information technology students for 11th standard, and assume that suppose we have 15 students. Okay. But in 12th standard, suppose 3 more students are joined information technology subject. So we have now 18 number of students. So it is called what? Insert. But unfortunately suppose 2 students they don't want to continue the subject. So they what happen, they try to take different subjects. So in that case what happen, we have to remove these 2 students from our information technology list. So now we have total 18 students, but out of these 18 students we remove 2 students. So now we have only 16 students in our list. So it is called what? Deleting. And what do you mean by retrieving? So suppose someone try to ask you, please give me the list of information technology student those who are taking the admission for 11th standard. So in that case what we are trying to do, we are trying to provide that list to that particular person. So it is called what? Retrieving the data. Is that clear? And whenever it is required we should try to provide it. So it is the main purpose of database. Is that clear? So here is on our screen one example of report card is there, so that we already discussed. Means how from that report card we can analyze in which subject we scored more marks, in which subject we got score down, So from that report card we can analyze, say for example, suppose in maths if I scored out of marks, but in case of English suppose if I'm getting less marks, so what I am analyzing analysis from that report card, next time I have to focus on that English subject to score much better for giving a best performance. So that's why it will reflect it on our report card. So that's why it is improving your performance. So it is called what? Analysis, and it is only and only possible with the help of database. Is that clear? Now guys, we are going to focus what actually the difference between data and information means. So here is a chart that displays you what is the basic difference between data and information. So data is nothing but what? It is called a fact, raw fact. Raw fact means what? A raw material. So if we try to produce some final product, so we required raw material. So data is nothing but what? Raw fact means raw material, and that material we are going to be processed. So information means what? Information is processed data. Suppose if I'm going to ask you, you have 6 papers suppose, and how many total number of lessons for information technology subject for unit test examination. So in that case, what I'm expecting from you, you just try to give me the answer for information technology subject only. There is no need to give the answer for physics, how many lessons for maths, how many lessons for chemistry. So that is immaterial. It is called what? Processed data. Means the information we are going to ask, we will get the actual data only. So what is the basic second difference? Data does not help in decision making. Why guys? Because we have just only raw data we have. So if we have that data, if we are not going to process data, so it is difficult for decision making. But in case of information point of view, information helps in decision making. Why? Because that data we are going to process in a systematic manner. So let me take the example of suppose student list. So if I have 60 students for our college, so these 16 student I am going to record in a particular table form. So according to that I can make more decisions. Okay, so let me see the third difference. Data could be relevant or irrelevant. Means what guys? So sometime what happen, we are getting the data, so from that data we cannot make any decision, or sometime we receives which kind of data, that kind of data consists of text, images, graphs, so it is difficult to process that data. Okay, so in case of information point of view, we say that without data information cannot be processed. Means what happen, raw data is very essential. If we have data, then we are going to process on that data, and only we are going to use that data. Okay guys, so for that purpose I will give you some another example so you can easily understand. So guys, now in next week you have to face your first unit test examination, and I hope so you also got the details about the examination syllabus. So what happened guys, now at this stage you have a knowledge of physics, chemistry, maths, biology, English, as well as information technology. You studied properly, well studied. Okay, but when you face the examination, assume that on next day you have to give the paper for physics. So when you receives the question paper, so what they actually expect from you, you just read that question and give the answer only related with physics. So if I'm going to write down the answers of chemistry, maths or IT, if your answer is correct, still you will not get the marks. Okay, so this is called what? Relevant information. So that should be in a processed manner. Now let me see the introduction to database management system. Database management system means what? DBMS. Okay, a database management system is a software for creating and managing database. So why is it necessary? Because we have a huge amount of data, and that data should be in a systematic manner. Means suppose if I'm asking this the college, I want the list of student those who admitted for our school from last 10 years. So it is nothing but what? It is a database. So what actually school or college gives me the list. So they provides us a 10 different list, and in every list I will get the information of student, those who admitted for the academic years respectively. Is that clear? So from that data I can analyze whether the number of admissions are okay, or is it necessary to increase more number of admissions, and what should be the performance of students, means whether they are interested in our school or college to take the admission or not. So this is useful for decision making. Okay, so DBMS is nothing but what? It is a powerful software that will helps you to store or manage the database. The DBMS provides user and programmers with a systematic way to create, retrieve, update, and manage data. So, what do you mean by update? So, suppose if I'm providing the phone number to the school for record purpose, but unfortunately that numbers get changed. So, what we are trying to say? So, we request to our concerned teacher. So, please, ma'am, we have already this number is there, but instead of using that number, please replace that number with this number. So it is called what? Updating the information. So it stores the data in such a way that it becomes easier to retrieve, manipulate, and update information. Now guys, here are the some popular examples which are related with database management system. So in that, most popular is MySQL, PostgreSQL, thereafter MS Access, Oracle, SQL Server, IBM, DB2, and Sybase. So these are the most popular examples, and these are the most powerful softwares that will helps you to store a huge and complex amount of data. So we can store millions of records within this database, and there is not a single problem occur during accessing these data. So meanwhile, what? Suppose if I have this millions of records, and if I want to search a particular record from that database, so it will gives you within short interval of time. So these are the most powerful database software. Now guys, after discussing various application softwares, that softwares allows you to store the data, now we see that how many applications are there, means where actually database management system works. So let me discuss our first example, railway reservation system. So what actually this system requires? So it keeps the information or details about ticket booking, train departure, arrival, status, and status of seats available. So this is called what? Database related to that particular train. And suppose if we try to ask the railway department, I want the detail of those customers or the passengers, those who are traveling from last 1 month. So what it try to do, it have the information of all the passengers, all the train details along with date. So they try to select the starting date and ending date, and they will just try to find out those customers, list those who are traveling in that particular period. So it is nothing but what? We are accessing the data from the given database. So let me take the different example, library management system. So this is another interesting example. So there are thousands of books in a library, so it is very difficult to keep a record of all the books in a copy or a register. But with the help of database management system, it is easy to maintain all the information related to the book, issue date, name of the book, author, and availability of books. So by making a simple Excel sheet or using MS Access sheet, what we can trying to do, we can store the information of the person, those who issue the book, and it also helps you to maintain the list of books available in that library, and how many number of copies are get issued and how many number of copies are available. So according to that, we can easily managed. Is that clear? Now let me take the different example, banking sector. So in banking sector, peoples are making thousands of transaction through banks daily, and they can do this without going to the bank. So now banking has become so easy that by sitting at home, bank customers can send or get money through banks. So nowadays we know that, guys, we are facing a lockdown, serious issue problem is there, but still we can't stop our life. The show must go on. So what can we do that? So when we try to buy some things or when we try to purchase something, so after purchasing that things through online, we should have to issue the payment. So how can we give the payment? By using online media. So we can directly use either internet banking or by using different wallet payment, that is called Google Pay, Paytm, Phone Pay, etc. So we can use any one of the wallet for transferring the money, and we can also receive our total list of transaction from bank according to our requirement. Suppose if we see that uh, if we have performing suppose 50,000 transactions within 6 months, so which 50,000 transactions we have performed, we don't know actually. So in that case, what we are trying to do, we are requesting the bank to give the details of all the transactions, so it can be easily help to track that particular transaction. So there is one more example is there, universities and colleges. Examinations are done online today, and universities and colleges maintain all these records through DBMS. Student registration, their details, result details, course they offered, and they perform which kind of course. So this detail is available, and that can be maintained for a long period of time. So in this case, it will help to store a huge amount of student record according to college wise and university wise. Is that clear? So you can easily track a particular student from particular university. Is that clear? Now guys, we are going to see some different application, that is credit card transaction. So for purchase of credit card and all other transactions are made possible only by DBMS. So how can we say that? How it is possible with the help of DBMS? A credit card holder know the importance of his information, that all are secured through DBMS. So let me take the example. Suppose if I have an account at ICICI Bank at suppose XYZ branch, but bank consists of what? They have a database means what? The information about their customers, those who use debit cards or credit cards. So suppose they have suppose 1 lakh customers, or they have 1 lakh account at their branch, and out of that 1 lakh customers, 20,000 customers suppose uses credit card. So we know that every credit card has its own unique number. What do you mean by unique number? Means it is the same, so it cannot be duplicate. Is that clear? So their validity date is there, their password is different. So this kind of basic information stored in a database, and it is secured. Is that clear? So we can access that data only and only by giving valid verification details. Say for example, your name, your phone number, PAN card details, Aadhaar details, and then and only then we can either accessing or we can change the requirement of data according to the user. Okay, thereafter now guys, we see the next important example or application, social media sites. So where actually the social media uses the database. So say for example, if I'm using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, okay, so generally what happen, we have millions of users on this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So every user has its own profile, means their personal photograph, personal details, friend list, close friend list, and the information they are going to share with their friends or with the other person. So that kind of huge amount of data is stored in a database. So what is the main use of database? So whenever that customer or that user want that information, that can be easily accessed. Okay, got it guys? So it is nothing but what? Database. So generally what happen nowadays, we also used WhatsApp. So if we communicate with our friends from last 6 7 months, and which is our first message posted before 6 months, is it possible to see? Yes, definitely. So we can just browse and scroll it up, and we just check the date, and according to say that, yes, 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 I have posted this message from last 6 months. So this kind of information we can easily retrieve with the help of database. Now guys, we are going to focus various advantages of DBMS. So suppose in your examination question is asked, what is DBMS and what are its various advantages? So you just try to define just DBMS stands for what, and these applications you have to write down in short. So first of all, the main advantage of database is what? Reducing data redundancy. So what do you mean by data redundancy? Means it reduces duplicate data. So let me take, how means, what do you mean by duplicate data? Let me take the simple example. Suppose if we have 60 student in our class, so every student get his own unique roll number, means roll number 1 2 3. In this way our last student has occupy roll number 60. So when we get take the attendance and we say that, suppose roll number 21, and suppose 4 5 students are giving the attendance, so is it possible? No, it is called what? Duplicate data. Means we have only one student whose roll number is 21. So that kind of duplicate data replaces by database. Is that clear? So it is the one of the major important advantage, that is reducing data redundancy. Means duplicate data, duplicate entry skipped or override by database. So we'll get the pure and meaningful data. Then second advantage is what? Sharing data. So whatever the database we have, so it can be easily shared to the person who required or who request for that data. So for example, if I'm going to search on Google search bar, and if I want the timetable for IPL 2020, so it will gives me the timetable only related with 2020. It will not provide me the timetable for 2019, 2018. So it is what called sharing of data, and that kind of data which can be easily downloaded by the customers or the users, and that can be easily shared with some other person. Okay, so thereafter the next advantage of database is what? Data integrity. So data integrity means what? Data integrity that allows data accurate and consistent in the database. Data integrity is as important as there are multiple database in a database, DBMS software. All of these database contains data that is visible to multiple user. So it is necessary to ensure that data is correct and consisting of all the database and for all the users. So I will just explain you. So it is quite difficult to understand. Data integrity means what? Suppose if we have a a call center, and call center consists of suppose 500 computers, and all these 500 computers used by 1500 employee. So you say that how it is possible? So we just allocate the employees in different shift. Say for example, in morning shift 500 employees are coming, they work their job. So what actually company did? Company will provide the separate user ID and password. Means suppose if I have one computer allotted for me, so how can I on that computer, I can start that computer by providing my ID and password. And whenever my duty is over, what is my job? I have to log out. And when another person come and sit on that same computer, so that person should log in with his own ID and password. So it is called what? Data integrity. So means that database stores the information of all 1500 employees, means their ID number, name, their user ID, password, their login time, logout time, that kinds of details provided by database. It is called what? Data integrity. Means without user ID and password we cannot share that data, or we cannot access that data. So it is called what? It is called what? Data security. Means that data is fully secured, and without authorized person no one can share or no one can access that data. Means say for example, if we are providing the biometric thumb to open our mobile phone, so without your thumb it will never open. So we also make alternative pattern is there. So if we either use the pattern or if we use the thumb, is that clear? So only and only to access your phone, means no another person can access your personal phone. Is that clear? Now guys, these are the various applications which are related with database. So what is your job? You just try to write down within 2 to 3 points of each. Now guys, we are going to focus our next concept, that is called development and maintenance time. So with the help of database, it try to reduces application development and maintenance time. Why guys? Because whenever we stores the data, that data is stored in a very systematic manner. So if we have a huge number of data, huge amount of complex data is there, which is difficult to maintain or point it out on a notebook, or it is difficult to plot on a paper. So it helps you to maintain that data within a database, and it is very short and simple, and it provides you according to your requirement. So in this way what happen? There is a conflict, confusion, and unnecessary wastage of time that gets saved by the employee. So whatever the time he save, it can be utilized for different analysis purpose. Is that clear? So in this way, database management helps you to maintain clean and simple data, and that data should be available at right time to the right person. So guys, I hope you try to understand what actually the database means. Okay, so if you are not getting this concept clearly, so I request you, please try to listen this lecture 2 to 3 times, so you will try to get somewhat little bit introductory or familiar with database. So guys, thanks for watching this video. So we'll see some more different concepts in our next session. Till then, good day guys.